we got a little bit more, and I'll talk about closed session after this, but we had two, yeah, let me go to visitor statements first. You are still following by the rules that we had on the first visitor statement. Anybody want to speak on this side? That side? Okay. Seeing none, then we had two items that were brought up. Mike Welch, IDOT update on First Avenue or with your meeting.
I just wanted to give a little more facts to supplement what Kevin told us earlier. The IDOT project was on the board and then was off the board, and now it's back on the board. The right turn lanes they're contemplating would be a right turn lane from westbound Forest to northbound First Avenue, and a right turn lane from southbound First Avenue to westbound Ridgewood Road. That would necessitate, I think they said 12 feet of the grass and up to where the sign is, and the electronic sign would have to be moved. They said that they would allow us to handle that move, but then they would pay for it. So we wouldn't have to pay any more to move that.
How close would that turn lane be to the side of the building?
It would be 12 feet closer from the curb.
Because that's not wide expanse over there, so you're talking about cars being pretty close to the side of the building, aren't you?
12 feet closer. It's still a good 30 feet or so to the curb or more. So that's kind of what they did. They're also going to have community input. And they talk about they're going to do the whole, I forget what the phrase they use, but they're going to talk about the impact of pedestrians, bicycles, and traffic. And when the Secretary of Transportation came, we had her outside of, the new entrance. And right on cue, the mother deer and the baby fawn were coming through the parking lot, except the parking lot was locked and they couldn't get out. And so then we showed how we don't have space in our parking lot. And then we moved out to First Avenue and, all these semi-trailers started rolling by. Families on bikes trying to get to the zoo and to the high school came by. Pedestrians and joggers were coming by. So they pretty much understood that it was a busy intersection, and they put some spirit behind the project. As far as the bike path is concerned, 4 years ago, parents wanted a way for the North Riverside kids to get to the school. Right now, if they take the bike path off of 26th Street about 7th Avenue, they'd have to go through the forest preserves to the British Home property. I don't think that's a very safe alternative. North Riverside now has a bike path from a good portion of North Riverside proper all the way east to First Avenue. And so the goal is to talk about hooking up from 26th Street and First Avenue down to basically where the electronic sign is. That's a separate project from what they're contemplating doing. They gave us some ideas on how to look for funding and how to, they would provide us people to help us look into that. Whoever the responsible party would be, they said it would be one of the villages as opposed to us at the high school. And so we had some ideas on that. They didn't talk about the overpass bike bridge that had come up like 5 years ago. And then the other thing about the buses is, we asked the Secretary of Transportation if, what can we do with Metra or Pace? And we talked about having a bus that comes eastbound on 22nd Street. So all the kids who live in North Riverside proper up there who want to take the bus just have to walk the 4 blocks or less north. They can get on the bus and the bus can come straight down to the school. And we talked about the bus coming west on 26th Street, and all those kids can go south and pick up the kids and then come down to the school. And they might be willing to alter the schedule to have, let's say, one bus. You tell the kids, here's your bus. This is the time the bus is going to come by. And so they also thought that could make a little money for the pay system. And they also said kind of what you alluded to earlier, Tim, that what is the forest preserve for if it's not to share its land with the people, and what better way to put a bike path through. I talked about the zoo being the economic engine around here, and how the cars back up for all the way on nice days. And so if you mentioned you had talked to people or had on good resources. If you know of any people we should be talking to in the forest preserve, send it over to our staff. And that was good at the meeting. They kept saying, well, Kevin, we'll send it over to your staff, and your staff can work on it. And I kind of had to tell them that, at the district level, Kevin is the staff. So I think it was very good meeting. We had all kinds of elected officials come down and sit in the room and exchange ideas, and they're all concerned for the safety of the kids from our perspective, and the safety of the community traveling through the area. So I thought it was pretty positive, and I just wanted to add a few facts to what Kevin said to you earlier.
And if I could just say that I think that bus would help on both ends. I mean, I know it's a lot to ask for, but I think participation is low for some kids in North Riverside because transportation after school is an issue for them to be involved in activities. I've talked to some students about that. Even coming to summer school, it's a barrier for them.
Well, that would not help
No,
the situation, because if you're gonna schedule it,
It was gonna be like
it's a problematic situation when you live far away from a high school and you have one activity bus. It's a
Right.
problematic activity to schedule that kind of thing.
Well, they can
Just
get
be-
there on 2 buses, but
Right.
Yeah, but if they're gonna
The
schedule
purpose
one.
was to help with pickup and drop off, like
Yeah.
working with Pace to do like a 7 o'clock or a 7:15 run
Right,
and a 3:30 run.
but then you would need a 6
The-
o'clock run if you have a.
The 6 or the 8, and all that would be
Right.
back to the traditional
Right.
Pace.
I always want more.
Welcome to my world.
As a village of Riverside is apt to know, paths tend to get washed away in floods. So if I would encourage, if you're participating in that bike path, that it's not on the side of the side that floods, and it should be on a side where it doesn't flood.
On the west side first.
Right.
in theory, we were talking about the west side.
Okay.
And, that's a project for a different day, but
Right.
The zoo would not be opposed to moving their fence a little if it was cost neutral to them. I believe they may go that way. The actual intersection work is gonna be a specific number of feet in either direction from the actual intersection. So if there was like a start of a bike path to be done, that could be done under that project's money and construction. But from that point up to the 26th Street, it would be on a different construction project. So, but yeah, I agree that, you don't want to be right along the river there.
All right, thanks for the update. And you had a request for update on outside groups. You're looking for what?
I thought I sent an email. I thought the financials from the RBEF were sent out. I will check that, and if I have to, I could re-forward those if they're not already posted online for the RBEF.
They're not.
I'll take a mulligan then.
If they're not.
What?
If
Take a
they're
mulligan.
I have a mulligan.
Okay, so Mike, John's taking a mulligan. So we're gonna go now into closed session.
No, he's got a mulligan. He's got another thing he'd like to
All right,
add.
what would you want? Okay,
I'd rather do it in front of the TV than.
Oh, is that a
later.
golf term?
yeah.
Yes. Okay. I was reading in the paper, 4 weeks ago. They've added an AP computer science class. Pam, have you read about that? And there's like a government grant for it.
We have AP computers.
No, it's a second one.
A
It's
second?
about the theory of computer science.
Mhm.
And I'd like you to look into that
Oh,
and have our
okay.
school be
Where
forefront of that.
was the grant from?
It's some federal government thing, but they're instituting a new AP class in computer science, the theory of computer science.
We'll look into that.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to go into closed sessions where we'll discuss personnel issues, individual student matter, confidentiality of closed session minutes, collective negotiating matters, and litigation. Do I have a motion to go into closed session? Ed?
Is there something to read?
Yeah.
Resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, or dismissal of employees, individual student matter, collective bargaining issues, and litigation.
How about confidentially of closed minutes?
He wants to add confidentiality of closed minutes.
That's on the agenda, isn't it? I recall. That's a good idea, Mike.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ed Jepson. Mary Ann?
Dr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mrs. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Goodchen?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Jepson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes. Have a good night. We'll see you in August.